Hi, in this video lecture we are going to discuss about precedence of operators in Python. So this will be the agenda of this session. We are going to discuss about how to write an expression and how a evaluation of an arithmetic expression is done, precedence rules, about Boolean values and arithmetic expression, how they can be used, and then Python is strictly type checking language, about that, and then what are lambda expressions, and about arithmetic overflow and underflow in Python. So first we are going to discuss about writing an expression. To understand this, we will consider two scenarios. The first scenario is you are asked this task, okay, consider this sentence: double principal amount in a bank account and add it to interest. This is the task given to you. So what you can understand from this sentence is there is a bank account which has got a principal and which has got an interest, right? And you have been asked to double principal amount, whatever is given in that particular account, and add it to the interest. This is scenario number 1. And scenario number 2 is add principal amount of a bank account and its interest and then double it. Okay, so here also the same objects are involved. You are having a bank account and there is a principal amount and there is an interest for it, right? Now we have been asked to add principal amount and its interest, and then you have been asked to double it, right? So how we are going to write the expression for this based on the sentences, that's what we are going to discuss, right? So let the principal amount be I. Okay, let I be the principal amount. Let I be the principal amount given to you, and P is the principal amount and I is the interest that is given to you. Since the sentence says that double principal amount in a bank account, we can say P into 2. Double the principal amount can be written as P into 2 and add it to interest. Okay, so P into 2 plus 1. We can write like this. This is what we are thinking about when we read this sentence. Similarly, when you have been asked to do this task, add principal amount of a bank account and its interest and then double it, right? So add principal amount and its interest. Okay, so we may think like P plus I, you have to add the principal and then the interest and then double it, right? So into 2, you may think like this. This expression seems to match the statement whatever is given to us. So we are going to further discuss whether that is going to work out or not, but this is what will come into our mind when this sentences are given, right? So now before making a conclusion on those expressions what we have written, we will just discuss about evaluation of arithmetic expressions. So just recall what you have learnt in your high school. You might have learned Bodemas rule. So what does Bodemas rule says? Whenever you have given a expression, you have to evaluate what is within the brackets, right? And then O is for order or of. So when we say order, it is power of. When you have like x square or x cube or square root or cube root, then those things must be given the next precedence and you have to calculate those values. And then DM, in Bodemas you have next DM. DM means division and multiplication, and they have both same precedence and they must be evaluated from left to right. And AS, the remaining thing in Bodemas is AS, and when you look at this AS, this represents addition and subtraction and they also must be evaluated from left to right. So now we will consider this example, 5 plus 6 into 3, right? This is the expression. There are two operators in it, addition operator and multiplication operator. Which one should be applied first, addition or multiplication? When we apply Bodemas rule, it says that multiplication should be applied before addition. So you must calculate what is 6 star 3 and there is 18. You have to evaluate that first and then you have to add it to 5. So you will get the answer as 23. But if I do it in the wrong order, then I will get a different answer. So if I am going to do it in the wrong order as 5 plus 6, 11 into 3, then I will get 33. That is not the correct way to do, right? So we generally for simple arithmetic operations, what we have learnt in high school, the same thing is applicable in programming languages also. So you have to follow Bodemas rule. Now come back to the expression what we wrote just before. So if P is the principal amount and I is going to be the interest, and this was the task given to us, double principal amount and add it to interest, right? So we wrote an expression like this, double the principal amount and add it to interest. Yes, this is correct, because what Bodemas rule says, you have to multiply P into 2. Okay, you have to do multiplication first. So it will first of all calculate P into 2, it will double the principal and then do the addition. So whatever is said, the task, that will be done when we apply Bodemas rule on this expression also. So this is correct, fine. Now come to the next statement given to us, add principal amount of a bank account and its interest, okay, and then you are going to double it, right? So what we wrote previously was add the principal and interest. So we thought first of all we will do addition between P and I, and then to double it we wrote star 2. But is this correct? No, because what Bodemas rule says, when there are operators, various operators, you have to see the whichever is having the higher precedence. According to Bodemas rule, star, that is multiplication, is having a higher precedence. So it will double the interest and then add it to the principal. No, we do not want that. You have to add the principal and then the interest and then you have to double it, right? So the right way of doing is this, like this, right? So this is the right way of doing the task whatever is given. So how do we overcome the precedences? By putting the parenthesis. So I say that add the principal and the interest, finish it off and then double it, okay? This is how we will write an expression. Now every language, every programming language has got a set of precedence rule. Similarly, Python has also got its own precedence rule. So when we look at the order of precedence of the language, they can be broadly classified into or broadly ordered as follows. First, topmost precedence is given for what is within the brackets, and then will be exponent, and then unary operators, and then arithmetic operators, bitwise operators, comparison operators, and then logical operators. This is the order, right? So first will be brackets, exponent, unary operators, arithmetic operators, bitwise operators, comparison operators, and then logical operators. So we will see in detail how the precedence is. To fit the precedence rules into the same slide, I have divided into two halves. So the serial number goes like this. I have shown in a different color. So you can see that the topmost precedence is for parenthesis, right? And the second precedence is for exponent. It is represented in Python as double star. And then the unary operators has got the next level of precedence, unary plus, unary minus, and then this is bitwise not, okay? These are all the unary. Then only the binary operator comes. After the unary only the binary operators comes. And when you look at the binary operators also, first arithmetic operators are given higher precedence. In arithmetic operators itself, whatever is related to multiplication and division are given higher precedence. So you can see here multiplication, this is true division, integer division, modulus operator, they are having higher precedence when compared to addition and subtraction. So after the division and the multiplication operators, you have the addition and the subtraction. Then comes the bitwise operators. When you look at the bitwise operators, the shift operators, we have seen two categories of bitwise operators, like bitwise and, or, XOR, and then shift operators, okay? Shift operators are having higher precedence when compared to this these operators like XOR, OR, and so on, okay? Right. So these operators, bitwise shift operators are having higher precedence when compared to bitwise and so on, right? And similarly the comparison operators. Next, so when you look at this bitwise and XOR OR, and is having higher precedence when compared to XOR when compared to OR. And then comes the comparison, identity and the membership operators. So when you look at comparison operators, equal to, not equal to, greater than, all these operators comes, and this membership is also like not, not in, not in, those things, is not, those comes under membership operators. They are having the next level of higher precedence. And then comes the logical operators. And when you look at, there are three logical operators, logical NOT, AND and OR. So when you look at, the highest precedence is given for logical NOT, followed by logical AND, followed by logical OR. Okay. So this is about the precedence rules that is given by Python. Next, what we are going to discuss is about Boolean data type. Already we have discussed about Boolean data type. There are two values that can be taken by a Boolean variable, right? Either true or false. Here what we are going to now discuss is, when as you can convert a value to an integer. We already discussed about this in the previous sessions. So how you can convert a value to integer is, you will use the int_of function. Similarly here also you can use, one minute, yeah, so you will use like this, int_of. When you want to convert a variable to a integer variable, then you will be using like this. We have already seen in the previous sessions. So when I want to convert a to int, I will use like this, int_of a. Similarly here also you can use bool_of, right? When you are using this bool_of operator, bool_of function, then it is going to convert to a Boolean value, right? So when the input is going to be true, bool_of true is true, of course, right? We can understand from it. And next will be bool_of false. Bool_of false is false. And when I am going to give anything within double quotes, we have already seen double quotes and single quotes are going to represent string literals in Python. So when I want to represent a string literal, I can use either double quotes or single quotes. So here I am using double quotes to represent. So bool_of a text, whatever is within double quotes, is true. And when I don't have anything in between, that is, I have started a double quotes, finished it immediately, then it is going to be false. But this is different. You can look at it. Bool_of, I have got a empty space in between. This is a empty space in between two single quotes. This is also string literal. In this case, I will get a true. When I am having bool_of 0, it's going to be false. For integers, bool_of 0 is false. Other than 0, all are true. Let it be positive or negative, all are going to be true for integers. For strings, if it is without anything, immediately I am going to close the quotes, open and close quotes, then it is going to be false. For all other cases, it is going to be true. And you can look here, bool_of 3, of course I told you that other than 0, for any value, any integer value, it's going to give a true, so true. And bool_of none is going to be false, obviously, because it is nothing, it's representing nothing, so it is going to be false. This is about the Boolean values that are given for any data type, right? You can also convert, or in expressions when you are using it, automatically it also gets converted. This is about Boolean data type. Now what we are going to discuss is about the Boolean values and the arithmetic expressions, right? So now we have got a very different expression, 5 plus true. Okay, so it seems to be very different. I know how to evaluate 5 plus 6 or 5 plus 10 or 5 plus 1000. When I have two integers, we know how to do it. When you have two floating point values, you know how to do it. But now it is very different that you are trying to add a 5 to a true. So what is your idea now? Whether this will work out or an error? You can think for 2 seconds. Many of you may think this is an error, but this will work actually. This will work this will give you a value as 5 actually, sorry, it should be 6 because this is wrong actually, this should be 6, right, because true will be given as 1 value. So whenever you are using an arithmetic operation, if it is a true, if a value of true is there, then you will add it to the value, right. So this is wrong. I will also show it minute. And show 5 plus true, yeah, it is 6, okay. So that was wrongly given in the slide, sorry for that, okay. So you will see that actually 5 plus true should be 6 and 10 minus false. False is always treated as 0 when you are using in a arithmetic expression. So 10 minus false will be 0. If you say 10 minus true, then it will be 9 because it will be treated as 1. This is about how Boolean values are working with arithmetic expression. Next, we are going to see some examples to understand that precedence is very, very important, right. Now, look at this expression. Look at this expression 64. What is this? This is right shift. So when I am trying to do a right shift, what will actually happen is the value will be divided by 2. So when I say 64 right shift 2 times, right. So when I am doing it 1 time, it will be divided by 2. When I am doing it 2 times, it will be divided by 4. When I am doing it 3 times, it will be divided by 8 and so on. Now I am trying to divide it by, shift it by 2 places. So it will be divided by 4. So the answer will be 16, right. And look at the next expression given 64 and right shift 3 times, right. So 3 times means I told you that when you right shift once, it will be dividing by 2. When you right shift by 2 times, it will be getting divided by 4. When you right shift it by 3 times, it will get divided by 8. So 64 divided by 8 will be 8. Now consider this expression. Now you have combined the bitwise operator and the arithmetic operator, and just now we saw in the precedence rule that arithmetic operators are given higher precedence than bitwise operators, right. So what will happen is actually 1 plus 64 will be evaluated. So it will be 65, and now we are trying to shift it by 3 places. When you right shift by 3 places, it will be divided by 8. And when you look at the division, this division will be an integer division. So 65 integer division 8 will be 8 will be 8. So the answer will be 8. Suppose you want to add 1 after doing the right shift operation, then you have to write the expression like this. So when you write like this, then what happens is you are going to give the brackets. So whatever is within the bracket will be evaluated first. So it will right shift by 3 times. So 64 will be divided by 8. The answer will be 8, and then 1 will be added to it, 9. Right? So you will get 9. This is how it works. And next we are going to see some more examples, right. Now consider this arithmetic expression. When you want to evaluate 2 minus 100 plus 5 star 3, this is multiplication, this is power raised to 2, right. So when you look at this, in this expression, this is having the highest precedence, right. So this will be evaluated first. 3 power 2 will be 9, and then you will multiply with this 45, and then after this addition. But when you look at this, they are having the same precedence. Addition and subtraction are having the same precedence, and when you have both with the same precedence, then you have to look at the associativity of the operators. When you look at the associativity of the operators, they are from left to right. So first of all, it will do subtraction. So 2 minus 100 will be minus 98. Here we have got 45. 45. Yes, 45. So here you have 98, 45. You will get it as 53, and since minus is for 100, you will get minus 53. This is how it will work, right? And look at this expression. This is 2 plus 25 into this tilde symbol is for bitwise NOT operator. So what is bitwise NOT is? It is just complement. Bit by bit it will take the complement. Zeros will be replaced by ones and ones will be replaced by zeros, right? So first of all, and we have seen in the precedence rule that unary operators will be having higher precedence than the binary operators. So the topmost precedence in this expression is for this unary operator tilde, right? So now the complement of this will be found, and actually it is minus 10. So minus 10 will be taken, and next level of precedence is for multiplication. So it will get multiplied with 10. So 25 into minus 10 will be minus 250, and then it will be added to plus 2. So the answer will be minus 248. Clear? Yeah. Next, let the value of I be equal to 5. We are just assigning it. And now look at this expression, I plus 1 plus I equal to 5. Whether this expression is right. Some of you may feel like it is wrong, but it is correct. How it will be evaluated is 1 plus I, because arithmetic operators have higher precedence than logical as well as the comparison operators, right? Now this is a comparison operator. This arithmetic operator has higher precedence, so this will be evaluated first. 1 plus I will be 6, and then it will compare whether 6 is equal to 5. No, right? So you will get a false, right? Now I am checking whether I is 5. Yes, of course, you will get a true. Now I have put a parenthesis around this to override the default precedence. So this means that first of all it will calculate whether I is equal to 5. Yes, true. True is added to 1. So when true is used in an arithmetic expression, true will be considered as 1. So 1 plus 1 will be 2. This is how it will be done. Okay. Next is about bitwise operators. So when you look at bitwise operators, actually they are more faster when compared to arithmetic operators. We already know that data is represented internally in the means of bits only. So when you look at the bitwise operators, they are working on the bit level. So they are going to be very faster when compared to arithmetic operators. As we have seen, the right shift by 1 position will indicate division by 2. Right shift by 2 position indicates by 4, by 3 position indicates by 8, and so on. Similarly, left shift also by 1 position indicates multiplication by 2, and left shift by 2 position indicates division by, sorry, it's multiplication. There is a mistake. I will correct it before I upload it, right? So indicates multiplication by 4, and so on, right? And when you look at Python, already we have seen one important feature of Python, that is Python is dynamically type checking. That is, for example, we can consider this one. Let us go to the interactive shell. I can say that a is equal to 5, right? Now at this point of time, a is a variable which is an integer type, and in the next line I am saying a equal to 5.5. It is very flexible, right? So it is now having a floating point value. In the next line I can go and say hello, right? I can say like this is also accepted, which is not accepted in most of the programming language. This is possible because it is a dynamically type checking language. So when you write a code, at one point of time a variable may be of integer data type. In some other place in the same code it may be a floating point data type. In some other point of time it may be a string data type, right? That is a very flexible feature, dangerous feature also, because sometimes we lose control over it, right? Sometimes if I forget that I have declared a variable or I am using a variable as an integer and I am going to use the same variable name as a string, it is a very risky thing, okay? But it is a very flexible, advantages in many places, but we should be careful when we are going to write Python code. Now it is also, Python is strictly type checking. So what do I mean by strictly type checking is, when I am going to add two numbers, it is fine, right? It will add it. Similarly, when I use the plus operator between two strings, then also it is fine in Python. It will just do concatenation of the two strings. But if I am going to do like this, as to a string, we know that when you put something within single quotes or double quotes, it is a string in Python. So when you are going to use like this, and when you are going to add integer to it, then we are in trouble, because it will check the data type. Both are not compatible. When you are going to do addition, integer and integer are compatible, integer and float are compatible, float and integer are compatible, string and string are compatible, but string and integer are not compatible. So you will get an error like this. You can see that it has to be converted, right? So it is saying that can't convert into object to string implicitly. Okay, so you are making a mistake. So it is informing you. Okay, this is about strong type checking nature of Python. Next, we are going to talk about lambda expressions, which is a very beautiful feature of Python. So it is a way of similar to write a function, but it is going to be like a very simple way of writing it, very easier way. When you have very few lines of code to evaluate, then you can go and use this lambda expression feature. For example, when you want to convert a temperature from centigrade to Fahrenheit or Fahrenheit to centigrade, then you can go for this option. Here we are seeing an example where we are writing a lambda expression for Fahrenheit to centigrade. So how will you write as lambda, and then what input it is going to take? Here it is taking only one input. If you are having more than one input, then appropriately you have to give it, and then colon, and then how it should be evaluated. We are saying f is the input, so f minus 32 into 5 by 9, we are saying it, right? And this is stored in a name. Now it is like a variable. F2 C is like a name which is representing a lambda expression. Now when I want to make use of the lambda expression, I will use the name with which I have stored, and I will pass the value. This value will be mapped to this f. This value will be mapped to f, and this expression will be evaluated. So it will replace f by 104 in this expression, evaluate and return the value. Right. Next, working with libraries, we have already seen in the previous classes that you can use this import. Import is the keyword. When you want to use some libraries, you can use this import keyword and import the libraries. But when you look at the functions in the libraries, there will be n number of functions. In some cases, the library may be very heavy to be imported, and it will occupy a lot of memory space, and it may make the code to execute slower. So one of the way to avoid this, instead of importing the entire library, for example, when I want to find square root of 9 or some number, right, I want to use the square root function. One way is I can say import math, and then I can say math dot square root of 9. This is one way. Other way is, instead of importing the entire library, you can import the function alone. So from math import square root, you can say like this, from math import square root. Say the functions which are required alone, and then you can use directly the function name. It is not required to say like math dot. Directly you can say sqrt. This is other way of working with libraries, easier way and more efficient way also. Then we have already seen that Python is very good. It is having lot of memory space. When you look into the point of numbers, it's not having restrictions like other languages. You can store higher values, bigger values. That is the biggest advantage. Yes, of course. So only a number of numerical packages are based on Python, but anything has a limitation, isn't it? So Python has also got its own limitation. So when you are trying to do very high values, for example, when I am trying to multiply, this is e power 200 means this is like 1.5 into 10 power 200. Okay, so 2.0 e power 210 means 2.0 into 10 power 210. So when you are trying to multiply these things, actually it should be 3.0 e power 410. That should be the answer, but you will get it as infinite because it is very large and this cannot be stored. So arithmetic overflow also happens in Python, and how it will be represented is, it is represented by the INF symbol, right? So when the value is going to be very large, then you will get this value. Similarly, arithmetic underflow also happens. When the value is very small, then Python cannot have a representation for it, and in that case it gives a underflow. But there is no specific way to indicate underflow. Instead, it represents it by 0.0. So when you are trying to multiply 1 into e power minus 300 by 1 into e power 100, instead of getting the answer as 1 into e power minus 400, you will get it as 0.0. This is how underflow will occur in Python. So in this video lecture, we have discussed about how to write an arithmetic expression, how to evaluate it, or whether it's very trivial or we should follow some rules. Yes, we have to follow some rules similar to Bodemar's rules, what we have learned in high school. So we discussed about the different precedence rules for the different types of operators, and then we were discussing about the special data type Boolean and how it will work with arithmetic expressions. And we were also seeing some examples how precedence is important, and bitwise operators are faster. So whenever possible, you can use bitwise operators in the place of arithmetic operators. And when you are going to have some part of the code which is frequently executing, then bitwise operators may be more suitable in those places. And then we saw that Python is strictly type checking. Though it is dynamic type, the data type can change for the variable, but when you are writing arithmetic expressions, you should be more careful. You should see that the data used in the expression are compatible. If there is no compatible, then Python will not do implicit data type changing or typecasting. Instead, it will throw only errors. And then we were discussing about lambda expressions, a very easy way, a very simple way to write a expression which will work like a function. And when we will go for this lambda expression is when you have very few lines of code that will do a evaluation. Instead of going for a function, we can go for lambda expressions. And then we were discussing about working with libraries. Instead of importing the entire library, if you are going to import certain functions which are required alone, a lot of memory can be saved and the execution speed also can be increased. Though Python has got very good memory, very good way of handling, there also arithmetic overflow and underflow can occur when the limits are getting exceeded. Arithmetic overflow is represented by INF and underflow is represented by 0.0. There is no specific way for underflow. That's what we discussed in this session. Thank you.